We're live. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wellness Mindset with Enolia and Denika. Let me give you a disclaimer. If you hear any noise, it's him. He wants to be a part of the program. That's little Wesley, okay? He's not an official part of this show, but he might be making a whining contribution today. I'm Denika. I'm here today with Enolia. And we are going to be talking to you today on the Wellness Mindset about powering through your pain. Now, I will be Denika 5.4 in April of this year. And one of the things that I have come to understand and also appreciate is that pain, Enolia, is a part of this life process. We cannot avoid it. There are two things that we can be sure that we're going to experience in this life experience: death and pain on some level. And we want to talk today about powering through your pain, because if it is a necessary part of the life experience, then I think it would be really, really beneficial if we can get a clearer and a better understanding on how to work through pain rather than allowing the pain to be this, huge burden, allowing your story to be full of sting and struggle and rejection and abandonment. And, we all have a story, Enolia, right? We all have a story, and most of us have a pain story.
Yes, we do. You're exactly right. And you know what? I want to add to that two items that you basically said that we'll always experience. One is pain, like you said, okay? But the other one that I want to add to it is change. Change. And the only thing in life that's constant is change. And when you're in your pain and when you find yourself stuck in pain, it's that you don't want to acknowledge the change. You want to stay in that story of pain. We all have experienced that scenario, that trauma, that whatever it is that's invoked that pain. But the thing that is that if you're still in that story that happened to you when you were a little girl and you're a grown woman, if you're still in that story of the trauma that had taken place, years and years before, and you're still talking about it, you're stuck in that story.
Yeah.
You're in that environment as if that pain is just as fresh as of the day that it happened. And part of powering through that pain is understanding and acknowledging that you're stuck in the story of it.
Yeah. Yeah. And the experience of your pain is going to be directly connected to the perception of your pain. Like you said, the story, the experience of your pain is going to be directly connected to the perception of the pain. And like you said, change is a constant. Tony Robbins has a quote, and it's one of my favorite quotes. I use it all the time. He says, change is inevitable, but progress is optional. So when you talk about powering through your pain, I'm getting the goosies. I love when spiritual.
I love that. Yes.
Yeah, when you talk about powering through the pain, it's giving yourself an opportunity to change your perception of the pain. Because if you're stuck in the sting of the story, you're not going to be able to power through nothing. You're going to be stuck in the situation, right? But when you allow yourself to see what this pain is coming to teach you, because I believe that pain is a great teacher in this lifetime. It brings a lot of lessons. It tells you how you think, how you look at things, how you hold things, right? It's a big teacher.
You're absolutely right. And one of the things that I want to share with our audience is that if you find yourself still in pain, you have not exercised that option to move through the story. You have used some kind of excuse, shame, insecurity, guilt, shit. Your word, right?
Talk about
it. You have used something to say, I don't deserve to move through the story, and we all deserve to move through the story. Yes. And the first option is that you have to have the incentive to want to move through the story of pain, to release the pain, to understand that we experience it, we acknowledge it, We see the lesson that it brought us, but we do not dwell in it for the rest of our lives.
Man, and I'm telling you, and when you say stuck in the story of pain, right? So like, when we talk about pain, there's many different ways that we can experience pain, right?
Sure.
One of the ways that a lot of people experience pain is through relationships, right? And again, relationships are the foundation of who we all are. We all got to do relationships in this lifetime on some level, right? But when you experience pain, like in relationships, there's a fear. Fear and pain are connected. Pain is an extension of fear. We were talking about energy here, right? And so when you allow pain to continue to be present, when you allow it to continue to be the story, when your perception of pain is what others have done to you and what you cannot now do as a result of this, it's a big barrier. It's connected to fear. And so fear is one of the biggest barriers to experiencing love. I remember, and I'm so grateful that I have had the experiences that I've had when it comes to pain. I've had a lot of pain in my life with regards to grief, with regards to loss, with regards to relationships. And I remember I never believed that I would ever be able to live through my mother's death. Never believed that. But I had had several experiences that I say prepared me for my mother's death. And one of the beauties, one of the PowerPoints that I was able to hold on to after my mother passed, and she passed suddenly in a car accident, right? I was able to hold on to the power that there was not one word left unspoken between me and my mother. We had said everything. As a matter of fact, we had a conversation that morning where we were talking about shit, ironically, like literal shit. She was talking about, like going to the bathroom and cleaning up yourself. And I was dying laughing. And that was our last conversation. But the power for me was there was not one word left unspoken between me and my mother. There was not one thing that I wish that I had said to my mother that I did not say. And that I held that beauty to get me through that painful situation, because my mother died 1 month to the day before her 70th birthday. And I'm here in Houston, Texas, talking to all her friends in the Bahamas, preparing this big party, right? So, my mother left the month before. I'm preparing this big shindig. And the other part of it was going to be my first time back to the Bahamas in so many years, right? Now, I could have held on to that story. Because that was the truth. There was a part of it, but that wasn't going to make me feel good. So I had to extrapolate. I think that's the word.
Extrapolate.
What was going to make me feel powerful in that painful situation. And I know your mom has transitioned as well. So I don't know if you have anything to share on that.
Well, it's really funny that you're saying that. Do you know my mother passed away 4 months after her 70th birthday? Okay. And I saw my mother. Yeah, isn't that interesting? I saw my mother 1 week before she passed away. And when I reflect back over that conversation that we had, first of all, my mother had prepared me. She had said, you know what? If anything happened to me tomorrow, you need to know that I have lived a good life, right? Now, parents say those things to you. But my mother challenged me. She said, I don't want you to sit there and dwell in sorrow over me. I lived a good life. I want you to celebrate me. I want you to talk about me in stories of all of the great things that I did, all of the ways that I had touched people's hearts, because my life was a good life. And I felt wonderful living it. I got to do what I wanted to do. And I have asked God, if I go, please take me fast. And God bless her, she did go fast. The weekend I was supposed to go visit her, she passed away. And she had said, don't come on Friday to see her, come on Monday, because she was supposed to get out of the hospital. She had had a stress test. She looked great. She was strong. And, God wanted her. And she passed away that Saturday before she was supposed to get out on Monday. And when I reflect back over that conversation, I realized that she, in some ways, knew. She knew. The conversation she had with me, she knew And she said, you are strong and you will do well. And I want you to live your life, because every day that you live is a celebration for me, because you are my legacy.
Wow.
So the thing about it is, when we lose loved ones like that, they want us to think about how they lived, not how they died.
Absolutely.
They want us to think about what legacies they left, the good things they did, the stories that you could tell that are positive. And yes, you are going to miss them. But it is about moving through that story. And I think that funerals are really closure for the people who are left, but not for the people who passed.
I agree.
They want closure, and they want you to celebrate what they did positive in this life. And we love to dwell in our pain.
Yeah. But even on the other side of that, you know, there is a place for grieving, right? And you have to give yourself permission to grieve. You have to allow yourself to have that process. And, you know, we're talking specifically about losing a loved one to death here, you know, and grief looks different for different people, you know, and every individual, you know, you can have like siblings. Me, my children, I lost my mom, they lost their grandmother. Our processing of grief was different. Like my eldest daughter, she doesn't feel comfortable at all with emotion and expressing emotion. And people crying makes her feel very uncomfortable. So one can look at her and say, well, that's your grandmother. You're not even crying? Like, you're not feeling the pain? No, that ain't your business. She gets to process her grief. He gets to process his grief. Everybody gets to process their grief the way that they need to. So there is a grieving process, and you have to give yourself permission to have that grieving process. That is absolutely necessary. I firmly believe that. But you don't want to stay stuck in the mourning where you are all constantly exhibiting an external manifestation of the grieving process, right? It's like you have surgery. Then there's a time for healing, right? You have the healing process, but then you got to come on the other side of it, right? So even if you talk about physical pain, which I've experienced, which you've experienced, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things in my physical pain that I was determined, we ain't doing old age, because old age ain't nothing but a number. Old is a mindset
and a state of mind.
Energy, right? But it was like, what is it that you want? And I think that's one of the things that I would love to give our viewers in this moment. Like, even if you're in a painful situation, pain don't feel good. The experience of that, how it feels, we'll all acknowledge that doesn't feel good, right? We're all going to experience it, so we have to have the process. But ultimately, what do you want your experience to be? You get to,
you know, yeah. And you know, it's really interesting, because I want to take it a little bit further before we even shift to what you want your experience to be, because there are some people who feel like, because they have shame, that they deserve the pain. And so they stay stuck in the story because they feel that that is the penance that they're paying, is the shame and the hurt and the pain, and looking through the eyes of pain when they look at life, because they don't deserve anything better. And we have to go back to that place where we say, we are all worthy to be here. And really, are you paying penance to yourself because you don't choose to live life? And this is the excuse. And are you in fear of living your life because of what other people perceive, judge, or say about you? Are you giving away your power to those people? Because one of the things that I want to talk about is that when people perceive you for something, understand that you will never live up to a perception, because perception is not real. It's somebody's idea of what they think you should be. And then you jump at that idea and they dangle the carrot a little bit more and they go, oh, you missed it. This is what I think you should be. And then you dangle a little bit more. Well, my idea of this means this, this, and this, and you didn't do this part. And they dangle a little more. And that is a facade. So the thing about it is that you need to take back your power, deal with the fact that other people have pain and they don't know how to process it. So they might project it onto you. And you need to mirror it back and say, no, 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 no. That part is yours. This part is mine. I'll deal with my own pain. You deal with yours. And I don't need to have shame along with that pain.
Yeah.
Because moving through the pain is enough in itself. That's the hard part right there. That's the penance, is moving through it. Figuring it out. That's the work.
I'm glad that you brought that to the surface, because, you know, that unworthiness, right? That is an extension of the shame, right? That is an extension of the hurt. That's extension of the insecurities. That's the shit, y'all. It triggers, right? That unworthiness will keep you stuck. And unworthiness is a belief system. And so you have to come to a place where you are willing to face your beliefs, right? Because like you just said, you know, we ain't got no control over what others do. So if we're talking about pain in a relationship where you've been heartbroken, right? You don't have control over what somebody else did. But I'm going to tell you one thing I've come to realize: you got to face your shit. You got to face how you have created your experiences in your relationships, okay? And when you blame others for your life, for your pain, for your experiences, what you are doing is you're playing the role of the victim.
Yes.
And that is not attractive. That is not beneficial. That is not serving you. But when you accept that you participated in this situation, let's talk about a relationship gone wrong, right? That you participated in this situation in some way. You got to face your stuff, because I'm a firm believer a relationship never goes bad because of one person only. Because two people in the relationship, we're both playing a role, even if it's not hearing what the other person is telling you they desire. And so they go out and they find it somewhere else, right? We have to take responsibility for our contribution. And by accepting that you have some responsibility, you give yourself the opportunity to gain access to the solution. Okay? And when you stay stuck in unworthiness, and oh my God, I'm not enough and I'm not worthy, and they cheated on me with this person, so I must not look whatever, you don't give yourself an opportunity to power through. You don't give yourself an opportunity to get to the other side. You don't give yourself an opportunity to have a different experience. Hell, let me tell y'all something. Can I just be real with y'all for a moment? If I can be real,
just be real.
Denika, please be real with me today. Relationships are seasonal and reasonal. Relationships are seasonal and reasonal. They come into your life for a reason and come into your life for a season. But your relationships have lessons for you. Your relationship is a teacher. It comes to strengthen you. It comes to test you. It comes to bring out the best and or the worst in you. Okay? It's all about you. Stop looking at other people and what they've done to you and should have done to you and could have done better. Look at yourself. And I don't believe that we're supposed to be in just one relationship for our entire life. Like, I don't want that memo. I'm not buying from that corner store. I'm not purchasing that product, right? But again, if you participate in your life, in your relationships, in a way where you're always seeking, what is the lesson? What is this coming to teach me? You give yourself an opportunity to be a more powerful person. You give yourself an opportunity to be a more loving person. You give yourself an opportunity to be a more compassionate and empathetic person. Stop being judgmental. Make a decision on what is the experience that you want to have. You are worthy. Don't give somebody else the power to validate you, because when you do that, you give them the power to invalidate you.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. And I want to take it to another level too. I want to talk about powering through your pain as it pertains to fear. Okay. And let me define fear for you as I see it. Okay. Fear. We all have this bubble. We have this bubble where we operate, and we operate on our comfort level. Right. And as soon as you surpass that bubble, you go beyond that bubble a little bit, the ego kicks in and goes, oh, you better worry. I don't know if you're going to make it. Oh, I'm scared of this. Oh, I'm not sure of that. Oh, you're out of your comfort zone. Oh, this, oh, that. And the worry kicks in and the fear kicks in. All right. And when you are in pain, it is easy to stay within that bubble. So you talk about the fact that we have to take responsibility for our pain, right? Means that you have to move past that bubble and stand up outside of that boundary of bubble and say, I accept what I have to do to power through the pain. And even though it is fearful for me to step forward and move through it, maybe I have to stand on my own. Maybe I don't have the support that I usually have. Maybe I don't have the family backing. Maybe I don't have the family approval. Maybe I don't have my friends' approval. Maybe my loved ones no longer want to perpetrate that I'm the victim anymore, and they're not giving me the support I usually have. Whatever the story is, you have to move it. And I'm talking about the people who have pain all the time. We talk about divorces. We talk about, scenarios where we are in pain. We are in pain, and we just have to learn how to relearn, because you did stand on your own 2 feet. A lot of times we go into relationships and we're standing on our own 2 feet. Then we get into relationships. We've been there for years and years and years. And then that relationship breaks up, and all of a sudden we can't function. We can't cope. I haven't had to stand on my own 2 feet for 20 years. So how am I going to deal with this pain? I'd rather stay in the pain of anger and fear of standing on my own 2 feet, and the fact that partner, I feel abandoned, rather than recycling and powering through that pain and digging deep in the confidence within me, which is like, I started out as a teenager standing on my own 2 feet. I didn't have any fear then. Why should I have fear now? The slate's clean. I got to move. I got it through. My mother used to say to me, if you can type, you can eat. Okay. You can be a receptionist. You can do this, you can that. You can figure it out until you bridge over what it is that you have to do. But learn the lesson. And sometimes these are abusive relationships. Sometimes we're just comfortable. Sometimes there's no love in the relationship. And instead of just acknowledging that you're not making each other happy, you want to place blame on him because he doesn't want to stay with you, or you don't want to stay with him. And it's 30 more years of what? Living as roommates, and accepting that that's love. That isn't love. And we have this fear that sets in deep.
Yeah. And
I see so many people in that midlife going, is this all that life has to offer? Well, I better settle with it, because you know what? Financially, I don't want to be touched. I'm comfortable, and that would make me uncomfortable. So I'd rather give up living life and give up that fear, knowing that I might have to stand on my own 2 feet and get uncomfortable and not have all of the amenities that I had to stand on my own 2 feet and move through that fear and stay in the pain of where I am.
I'm so glad that you brought the fear up, because fear eats away at your confidence. But when you don't give place to fear, you give yourself an opportunity to gain more confidence, right? And fear runs under the radar. So you talk about bubble, and your bubble can be your beliefs, right? Fear runs under the radar, but you're still reacting all the time subconsciously to fear. And you have to get to a place where you challenge the fear, where you challenge, where is the source of this fear coming from? Give yourself an opportunity to look deeper so that you can detach, right? Because so many people are attached to their beliefs. They believe all of this crap, and the crap that you're believing is keeping you stuck. It's limiting you. It's disabling you from being able to power through. It's disabling you from being able to create the life that you want. But when you face the fear, you give yourself an opportunity to gain clarity. Fear left unchallenged will control your life.
Yes.
Fear left unchallenged will control your life. Your beliefs are a choice. You can choose to believe something, or you can choose to not believe it, or you can choose to believe something else. And your beliefs adapt to your circumstances. They adapt to your experiences. They adapt to your culture. So face your beliefs. Why are you believing that you got to stay in this relationship that is bringing you a bunch of pain? Why are you believing that you have to stay stuck in the grief? Why are you believing that you can never forgive somebody? You're keeping yourself stuck. It is not somebody else's doing. It is a choice that you're choosing. You're choosing to allow that fear to suffocate you, to suppress you, to keep you small, to keep you limited, to keep you in pain.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you know what I make it akin to? I make pain, fear, all of that akin to like a veil that is over your head that can never be lifted. And what happens is that the rest of your life, if you decide to stay stuck in that story, you never see clearly. You said it. When we let go of fear, we bring in clarity. Well, when we let go of fear and we power through the pain, we lift the veil. We lift the veil as if it were the clothing or as if it were the burden that we're carrying on our back. Because you are carrying a burden on your back when you don't move through it. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I can see. And you need to understand that when you don't lift that veil, and all you see is the pain, and all you see is the fear, and all you see is the suffering, and what your shame and what your guilt is and everything, it shapes everything you decide. It shapes every activity you do. It shapes how you interrelate with other people. It shapes your thinking. It shapes your exploration of life. It shapes your celebration of life, because you don't celebrate because you're in pain or you're in fear, and you no longer know how to smile. You no longer even see yourself because the veil covers the clarity of who you are. Yeah. And you look in the mirror and all you see is the veil of pain and what you don't deserve. You don't even see you. And we're not even talking about the fact that you should love yourself or think yourself worthy. It shapes how you chose perpetrating that victimhood for the rest of your life in its entirety. And it thickens the veil to akin to a slow boil of not even realizing you're in hot water and it's killing you.
Mm. And you talk about lifting the veil, right? So for the people who understand this language, it means facing the shit, facing the shame, the hurt, the insecurities and triggers. And let me tell you something. What people call heartbreak is the result of a head-on collision with truth. Heartbreak gives you the opportunity to face the reality, to face the truth. Because too many times, especially us as women, we be ignoring a whole bunch of shit that be right in front of your face, right? You see it coming from down the road, around the corner, and over the hill. You're giving excuses, and this is what I want to interject this here. Many of y'all need to stop falling in love with potential. Many of y'all need to stop connecting with potential, because that's what you come in. You need to start connecting with purpose. Stop connecting with potential. Oh, well, he got the potential or she got the potential to be this. Start connecting with purpose. See the purpose in your experiences. Face your shame, hurt, insecurities, and triggers, i.e. your shit. If you want something better, if you want something different, you have to be willing to do something different. Because if you're living a life right now that's giving you a particular result, if you don't change what you're doing, you're not going to have a different experience. Okay? You lost your loved one. You lost your loved one to death. You lost your loved one to abandonment or rejection, right? This is how you do, y'all. Let me show y'all. Sit back in a chair somewhere, cross your legs, get you a nice beverage. Sit down with yourself and ask yourself this question. How did I get here? Why am I choosing to stay here? And what is it that I want to do going forward?
Exactly.
What's your remedy to powering through anything?
And understand that if you follow the same patterns and the same decisions, you will get the same result. Okay? You want a different life, make a different decision. That means take the chance, take the leap, take the opportunity, and don't come to me with this whole thing of I need to numb the pain. Because numbing the pain is perpetrating the victim. Not being present to face yourself means that you choose not to see yourself and you just pull the cloak over the veil with whatever excuses you use, whether it's drinking or whatever the case may be. You need to be present. You need to face the pain and power through it and move through it head on with clarity, so that when you let it go, you let it go. When you make that choice to heal it, and heal it means facing myself, making a conscious decision that I'm going to choose a different belief system, choose a different decision, choose differently in how I view this pain so that I can leave the pain behind me.
Yes, absolutely. Make a difference.
To do it too.
Yeah, because listen to me, y'all. Change is inevitable, but is it comfortable? Not necessarily.
No, it is not.
Do you choose to give yourself an opportunity to create comfort, or to find comfort, or to stay in your very uncomfortable comfort zone? Because a lot of what these people say is a comfort zone is uncomfortable as hell. So you need to make a different decision. You need to choose a different choice. And then you need to do something different. Because let me tell you something, decision and choice ain't going to get you there. Action is going to get you there. And like Enolia said, if you keep doing the same thing over and over again, that's action. You're going to get the same result, which is the definition of insanity, or I like to say stupid, right? Don't do stupid to yourself. Don't do stupid to yourself. Give yourself an opportunity. Make a different decision. Choose a different choice. You always have a choice. When you say you don't have a choice, you are giving your power away to something or somebody else. And choosing not to do anything is a choice. Okay?
That's right.
You have to do something different. There is always the other side. And no, sometimes it's not easy to get there on your own. Sometimes you do need help because you can't see clearly. You're in a fog. Reach out for help. If you're not happy in your life, if your morning, your mid-morning, your afternoon, your evening, your nighttime is filled with pain, and you know that you're being affected on every level, in every area of your life, it is your responsibility to yourself to access the help that you need.
Absolutely. And at this point, I want to open it up to the studio audience. If anybody has any questions, we welcome the questions, or any comments, we welcome those also. So the other thing that people might actually say is, well, how do I know that I am caught or stuck in the fog? And let me tell you this, if it feels comfortable, and if it feels like, you know, I can live like this, you're stuck. You're stuck in it, because it's not supposed to feel comfortable. When you choose to make a different decision to get a different outcome, that decision is the most uncomfortable thing that you've made. It doesn't feel like it's in that comfortable bubble that we've created where we're comfortable and we're behind the fear. We're behind the boundary of fear, right? I can stay here. I know how this operates. I know how this feels. This is like a warm pair of socks that I always wear and the comfortable shoes that I always wear. No, it's supposed to be uncomfortable. The decision's going to take you a place where you're not comfortable, where you don't know, where it is the unknown, where you don't know the outcome. And you dare to take a stand and try something new and explore or invite something different into your life without knowing or perceiving what that outcome is going to look like, anticipating what that outcome is going to look like. You're not going to know. And you have to welcome that. And in these cases, vulnerability is the strength. Vulnerability is the strength, because if you dare to stand and be vulnerable, that's making the different decision. That's coming out of the pattern, because the pattern and the comfort is to put on the facade. to stay in the comfort zone, to know what it's going to feel like, where it's going to go, how far it goes, how it touches other people, what perception it gives other people.
Yeah. And I believe when we choose to be vulnerable, we choose to be authentic.
Yes.
I firmly believe that when you choose to be vulnerable, vulnerability is not a weakness.
No.
To me, it's being real with who you are. It's authenticity. And that's one of the things that we are really lacking in life right now. Like everything is a facade, everything is fake, everything is bullshit, everything is lies, everything is dishonesty, right? But you cannot focus on what is wrong, because focusing on what is wrong will never make it right. You know, and when you were saying about being uncomfortable, yeah, I thought, go back over my life.
Mm-hmm.
And, there have been times when I have been uncomfortable, but I've been at peace. I've been uncomfortable with this new thing, but I've been at peace that this is the road that I'm supposed to be taking. I've been uncomfortable not knowing what the next 2 steps were going to be, but I was at peace knowing that if I kept going, I was going to get to where it is that I was supposed to be. And I really want to encourage our listeners, man, let me tell you something, you cannot put a price on peace. If you don't feel peaceful in your life right now, you need to pursue the things that make for peace. You got to go hard after peace. You got to find it. Sometimes you got to run it down, right? But if you're in a situation right now that just don't feel like it, I'm gonna put it like that. You're like, this just don't feel like it. This don't feel like what my life is supposed to be. I don't know what it's supposed to be, but this doesn't feel like it. Then you're not in a place of peace. And even though you might not know what the next 2, 3, 4, 10 steps are, make a choice to walk towards finding that thing different that your soul is leading you to. We are souls in a body, who have this spirit aspect to who we are. The higher aspect of who you are is in you. When you keep operating in pain and fear, you're operating in lower energies. You're not operating in your divine essence, in your divine capacity, which we all are. We're all divine spiritual beings having a human experience. But I ask you the question today to ask yourself, what is it that I want? What do I want to experience? And then give yourself permission to connect to that thing. When you discover within yourself what it is, give yourself permission to connect to it. Give yourself permission to power through.
And I want to elaborate on what you said, because when you're not at peace, I dare to say you are not following what your soul's calling is telling you. So how do you know that you're still in the pain? Because your soul will not settle for pain. Your soul will say, get me out of here. You know that this is what I want to do. And what do? Our typical reaction is like, oh, in my heart, I want to do this, but I'm going to do this because I know it. I'm going to do this because it's more comfortable. I'm going to do this because, you know what? I have to ignore that side because it just doesn't make sense. I'm trapped right now. And you make all of these excuses. But your soul, our souls speak to us. Mm-hmm. They speak to us in our sleep saying, you wake up and you're like, I got to do this. But no, I can't do this. I can't figure out how to do this. It's uncomfortable. No, I don't know where that's going to lead me. No, I'll just ignore it. And the more that we ignore what our soul is calling, along with our heart, to do, we do not find peace.
That's so true.
And when you adhere to what your soul's calling is telling you, you will find peace in everything that you do. Not only will you find peace, you will find alignment, you will find everything energetically just works. You will have a smile on your face. You will love waking up saying, okay, what is this beautiful day going to bring to me? Because my soul is at peace. I have everything at my fingertips. The universe is willing to align with what I want.
Yes.
Because I'm following my heart. I'm following what my soul's choice is. And I have reconciled within me that which needs to be healed, That which needs to be addressed. I've moved through the story of the pain. I've moved through the story of the blame. I've moved through the story of the insecurities. I've moved through the stories of taking on everybody's projections and judgment, and I've left it behind me.
Yeah.
And my soul is at peace. And they may not like what I did. They may not like how I reconciled it. They may not even like me. That's okay. That's their stuff.
Yeah.
Family or not.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
But when my soul is at peace and my heart is at peace, I am at peace and I can move on with my life.
Man, let me tell you something. I am a witness to everything that you just said. When you pursue peace and when you align with your soul's calling, you will find love, you will find joy, you will find abundance, you will find passion, you will find purpose, you will find it all. But you are never going to access all of that beauty if you stay stuck in the story. If you allow fear to be the controlling energy of your life. Sometimes you just got to be willing to step out, not knowing what's going to be there, especially if your soul is telling you to go. That was my story coming to Houston, Texas. I didn't know a rat, a cat, or a dog. I had dealt with so much pain. And I will never forget. My sister was killed in a car accident June 8, 1999. The morning of June 8, 1999, I told my ex-husband it was over because I discovered 2 messages from 2 different women. So that told me he was having 2 different relationships. So I had a double emotional whammy in one day. And then after that, a hurricane came and destroyed my home. But I knew the home was going to be destroyed. And when the wrecking ball came to knock down the house, that's how badly it was destroyed. I happened to be home that day. I wasn't supposed to be. And Spirit said, go outside. I want you to watch this. And as I stood there and that wrecking ball swung back and swung forward, half of the house fell down. And Spirit said to me, as that house comes down, every painful emotion that you have felt is being taken down as well. And as difficult as you feel like things are to be destroyed, it just takes the right thing to be able to destroy it. I watched that house being knocked down with the tears draining down my eyes because I experienced a lot of pain in that house. But even when that house was cleared and Spirit said, now it's time for you to relocate completely. And when things get tough, you are not to go back to the Bahamas. I had to be willing to follow the calling of my soul. I had to be willing to do something that was totally uncomfortable. I had no idea what the hell I was going to find, what I was going to deal with, what I was going to meet. But I knew that my soul was saying, go. Was the best, most powerful, amazing decision I have ever made. So I am a living witness to what Enolia just said. You have to follow the call of your soul. And even if you don't know what your soul is saying, because there's so much other noise, so much pain, so much confusion, so much clutter, so much mess that's going on in your life right now, I'm going to say it again. You owe it to yourself. You are responsible to yourself. No one is responsible to make you happy. No one is responsible to give you peace. No one is responsible to make your life okay. That's your responsibility to yourself. And if you're not willing to give it to yourself, how you going to expect somebody else to give it to you?
Exactly. Why do we look for it outside of ourselves? This is due me. This is owed me. You have to feel sorry for me. Look what I went through. And I can't even begin to tell you, I understand the courage and where you had to dig deep to be able to see it from that viewpoint, to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, to pick it up, to pick up your life and move it across to another country. You know,
And
when I experienced my divorce for 30 years and had to pick up from New York and move to California, and I was by myself and I didn't know anybody, and I had to reestablish myself all over again, starting from zero. And most women in their late 40s, early 50s are petrified. Yeah. Oh, I can't do this. I can't be by myself.
Yep. And you know what, Enolia? I had to trust. I had to trust not just spirit. I had to trust me.
Yes.
I had to trust. And that's what most people's challenge is. They ain't got no problem trusting God. They ain't got no problem trusting Jesus. They ain't got no problem trusting Buddha and Muhammad and all of them. But they're challenged with trusting themselves. And let me tell you something. If you don't trust yourself, you're going to hold yourself back. You're going to hold, I don't care how much angels, spirit, Jesus, and all of them people talk to you. If you don't find the way to trust yourself, you really ain't trusting God. You really ain't trusting spirit. You're really not trusting source, because that power is within you. That energy is within you. It's not separate. It's not somewhere out there. It's who you are. It's a part of you. And it can be challenging when you make piss poor decisions. Yes, it can be challenging when you've created a life that's full of shit. Trust yourself, right?
And it's called getting out of your own way. Get out of your own way. Get out of your own way by acknowledging that you're in your own way, acknowledging that your belief systems and your limited beliefs are what's stopping you from moving out of the shit.
Say that one more time about the limiting beliefs. Instant replay. Please repeat that.
Get out of your own way. It's your own limited belief systems that stop you from moving past your own shit.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. I can't say more than that.
And your beliefs change with your circumstances, and because you believe something to be the truth does not mean it is true. Challenge your beliefs, because if you are living a life that is suppressive, that is painful, that is yuck, your beliefs are a direct reflection of the life that you are living. Whatever you continually think in your mind and entertain and consider, it becomes your belief. Whatever you believe, you will act according to.
And manifest. And manifest. Girl.
So it starts with you. It ends with you. Only you can, like Michael Jackson says, make that change. But you got to start with the man and the woman in the mirror. Yeah. You got to ask him or her to change her or his ways. No lesson could be any clearer. If you want to make your world a better place, because that's all you're responsible for. That's all you have control over is your world, your life, what you live. If you want to make your world a better place, you got to take a look at yourself, and you have to be willing to make the change that is going to create for you the experience that you desire. Because like Enolia said at the top of the show, change is inevitable. It is going to happen whether you're comfortable, like it, want it or not. Progress, however, is optional.
That's right.
Great show.
No, I'm telling you, I don't think that there's much more that we can say. If you haven't gotten the message, do not perpetrate. Do not perpetrate the victim. And I'll leave you with this. Don't perpetrate the rescuer either. Some people need to face their stuff, and you think that you're coming in and you're rescuing and you're going to save them, and they shouldn't have to go through it. And some of us have to go through facing it so that we can learn the lesson, especially when we're hard-headed. Be the listener. Be the friend by listening and not even giving the recommendation on how to fix it. But step back and say, okay, I heard your story. Now, how are you going to move through it? Ain't that a friend? I heard your story. You are a strong woman. You are a strong man. Now, how are you going to move through it? You need to think about that. Well, what do you think I should do? No, 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 no. This doesn't have to do with me. The answers are within you. Now, you need to sit back and you need to be the observer instead of reacting to every piece of information that you had, and reflect, because the answers are within you, and then make a different decision.
Yes.
Outside of that pattern.
Absolutely. And if you've identified that you live in an imposter syndrome because you live in your life to impress everybody else, but you know your life is full of shit, shame, hurt, insecurities, and triggers, it's time for you to be real with yourself, because you carrying that pain, you carrying that burden. You the one who can't sleep every night. Your pillow is soaked in tears. You don't want to be around people because you feel depressed because of all the things that you're thinking about and all the things that you believed. Stop living your life to impress other people, because guess what? People see through your shit. They mightn't call you out on it, but they see through your shit. And we in a time right now where people just really don't have time for shit. Right? And that's why you feel lonely and alone and rejected and stuff, because you're not living life real for yourself. It's time for you to face your own stuff. Be real with you. Stop worrying about what other people think you should do, and you just trying to do stuff because of what other people expect or have expected. Give yourself permission to live your authentic life. Give yourself permission to power through the pain, power through the shit, shame, hurt, insecurities, and triggers, power through the past, because the past doesn't exist. The future don't exist either, but everything that you decide to do today is going to determine what happens tomorrow, even though it doesn't exist. But right now, be present. Be present with truth for yourself. Like Enolia said, be vulnerable with somebody. And listen, I'm a firm believer. We don't need to be trusting everybody. You gotta be careful who you trust. But we do need to trust somebody or somebody's. And so if you feel like you're struggling in your life right now with pain and you need some help getting to the other side, you can get in contact with either Enolia or myself. This is the work that we do. We're passionate about it. We've been through shit. We've dealt with shit. We've released shit. We've let shit go, right? And we can help you. We can help you. All right? So there's an email address for me on the screen that is not the email address to use. So let me give it to you. It's Denika at denikacarruthers.com to get in contact with me. Denika at denikacarruthers.com. You can also go to my website, denikacarruthers.com. And Enolia, please tell our listeners how they can get in contact with you.
If you want to get in contact with me, you can go enoliafodi@gmail.com. I also have info@enolia.live. And my website is enolia.live. So there's many ways to contact me. We are here. This is the work that we do. And please, we hope that you glean something from this conversation. This is the wellness mindset, and we are here to help you and to lift you up and to help you move through the story.
Yes. And what's so important about that is because your perception creates your reality, and your perception is the things that you have in your mind, right? And it's time to seek to create wellness, to create wholeness. It is available to you. You can power through the pain. I don't care what you're going through today. I have been through a lot of pain in my life. I understand pain. I understand it personally. Enolia understands pain personally. And we can tell you that you can get to the other side. There is a way to power through your pain, but you first have to decide that that is what you want. And then you have to choose whatever is going to support you in doing that. And then you need to make the steps towards making that happen. Because one of the things that I've learned, Enolia, and I know you've learned this too, you cannot want better for someone than they want for themselves. And
Exactly.
us as empaths and coaches and being really
And
passionate about
coaches.
the work that we do, right? We want
Yep.
everybody to be well.
Thank you. But it
the
starts with you.
Yeah.
It starts with you. Make the choice. Make the choice and do 2 to 3 things, 2 to 3 steps towards that choice. And whether that's contacting somebody, looking in the mirror, just stand there and look in the mirror.
Yes. I like that. I like what you said. So I want to give you some life work as we end this show.
Mm-hmm.
Write down 3 things today. If you are struggling in your life, there's a lot of pain around you, and you really don't see a way out. Write down 3 things that you can do today that will support you in being able to power through your pain. Just 3 things that you can do today that will support you. I ain't say it's going to propel you today, but that will support you in propelling forward and powering through your pain.
And I think that's a beautiful place to leave.
Yeah.
Leave it at that. Yes.
So we invite you to share this. If this has blessed you, if this has helped you, if this has enlightened you, and you know someone who is dealing with some pain right now, please share it. Subscribe to the channel. Feel free to follow me and Enolia on Facebook, on Instagram. I'm Denika Carruthers. She's Enolia. Her name is very unique, so you're not gonna have a problem finding her.
Denika's unique too now. Come on.
And be sure to join us next month. We will be here the third Thursday of the month. Same time, 12 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time, 1 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And what's the times over in the UK and in Africa, Enolia?
Okay, so in Angola, it is 7 p.m. In South Africa, it is 8 p.m. And please do follow us on our YouTube channels too. So you will see this out there on our YouTubes. And again, you can find find me under Enolia. You can find Denika under Denika Carruthers, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're there. We're there to help you with other supporting materials too.
Yes. Thank you, everybody. Be blessed.
Thank you.
Powerful. Be whole and be well.
And have a beautiful and blessed month. We'll see you next time.
Bye.